Hey all, Flurry here. Just wanted to preface this video by saying that I didn't get this video out as early as I was hoping to. Long story short, I've been using Vegas Pro for editing software for the longest time now, and I'm finally at the point where I'm sick of all the problems that it gives its users. So needless to say, I'm switching video editing software. Hopefully things will be a lot better from here going forward. And the main thing that I want to just touch on briefly is some things pertaining to the beginning of the video. I've improved my time a little bit now. Arjan has also improved the world record to a 4:01.882. And while watching that, I actually realized that the way that I'm going to show you how to do the Section 2 Shroom in this video is not actually the fastest way, but the way that I show you in the video is still very fast. I tend to average like a 51.7 Section 2, which is nowhere near what Arjan gets in the current world record, but 51.7 is still a very, very good Section 2. So this method is still fast. It is still overall very consistent. I've noticed some things now that maybe don't make it as consistent as I thought it was, but for the most part, it is still a very consistent method. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. The rest of the video, the content is, still perfectly valid and good. So yeah, hope you enjoy that. Hope I help. And yeah, enjoy the video. Yes, I have found a way to do the Section 2 Shroom on Rainbow Road consistently. Before I continue, I should probably provide some credentials so you actually believe and trust what I have to say. I'm just some guy on the internet with just over 150 subscribers, right? Who am I? Well, my most recent community involvements have been in the Mario Kart Wii tool-assisted speedrunning scene, as well as in the Mario Kart 8 U time trial scene. My Mario Kart Wii accomplishments include a couple of custom track best known times when playing RTA, and the N64 Sherbetland no glitch fast lap record when tassing. I'm also the current owner of the Mario Kart Wii tool-assisted speedrunning competition. In Mario Kart 8, I have a complete 48 out of 48 sub 2 minute timesheet, making me one of only 20 or so players to sub 2 minutes on Rainbow Road in that game. I also have American tops on Big Blue. Now, in Mario Kart World, I currently have a personal best of 4 minutes 2 seconds .386 on Rainbow Road, which is currently 3rd worldwide as of recording and within 0.2 seconds of the world record. And I have made my way onto worldwide tops on Cheap Cheap Falls a couple of times as well. However, most of my efforts thus far have been dedicated to Rainbow Road. So with my credentials out of the way, let's start discussing the Section 2 Shroom on Rainbow Road. There are 3 things we need to discuss in order to get a full picture of the consistent method that I found, which I'll explain in detail afterward. The first is understanding what the Shroom even is in the first place. What are we doing, and what do we hope to accomplish? The second is interacting with water, specifically shallow water. Understanding shallow water will help familiarize us with the setup I've developed for the Shroom, as well as the landing. The third and final thing is the terrain involved in the shortcut, both the grass at the beginning of the Shroom, as well as the wall we ride for a brief moment. I think it will be easier to show you what I'm talking about rather than explaining it. So allow me to show you the Shroom once, and then we'll break it down. I'll be showing you the Section 2 Shroom for my current PB, my 4:02.386. Do note that I stream many of my attempts on Twitch, so I do talk over the game briefly at the end of the clip. That felt really fast. So what's going on here? Well, at a top level, we're shrooming into the grass before the second water ramp. Then we trick off the edge of the cliff to get a short wall ride off the wall we're facing. This short wall ride transitions into a jump off the wall, which gives us a ton of speed in the air. To round out the cut, we aim to land back in the water, doing directional tricks as needed to realign. This is what we're looking to make consistent. And why is that exactly? Well, let me show you a couple of other variations of this shortcut. I hope it's obvious that, though some of these other results are still decently fast, it's nothing compared to the original clip I showed you. Other runners have also thrown away many attempts bashing their heads against it, to quote Arjon, the current Rainbow Road world record holder. So, a consistent way to do this shortcut fast is in order. Let's now start talking about some of the other necessary components to making the shortcut fast as well as consistent. Yes, I do mean shallow water specifically. Consider the following clip leading up to the Shroom. Shallow water is important to this shortcut because it is present both at the setup before shrooming and upon landing. Upon doing a considerable number of attempts myself, grinding my time down to a low 4:02 and beginning to go for world record attempts, I've noticed that my best results with the shortcut always have to do in part with shallow water. Notice how in the other clips I've shown of Rainbow Road, as well as other courses around the game, falling into the water results in your cart dipping below the surface and bobbing back up, upon which you can perform another trick. An obvious example is the faraway Oasis grind rails, since this mechanic is used to get sufficient airtime to move from one rail to the next around the middle of the course. This mechanic is exactly what makes some setups and landings from the Rainbow Road Section 2 Shroom slow. Recall that the entirety of Section 2 is a boost section, so losing speed in other ways and not maintaining forward momentum as much as possible is slower most of the time. I have seen some exceptions to this, but they are exceptions to the rule and I don't really know how to explain those. The game has only been out for about a week after all. Anyway, this is exactly where shallow water comes into play. Notice that the sides of the main water section are much shallower than the middle of the road. This should make sense since the road needs to slope up to allow for the off-road patches on the shoulders. Due to the sides being shallower, there's no space in the downward direction for the cart to go when landing from the prior ramp. This means that more of the momentum gets directed into purely moving forward, making landing in the shallow water faster overall. We still get to reap the benefits of the water mechanics, since we do still get a small air pocket to perform a trick and start a left drift into the Shroom. The landing from the Shroom is similar. Landing on the left side, where the water is shallower, transfers most of the momentum to the forward direction, since the cart has no more space to dip down into the water. We minimize time spent not moving forward and get the most out of the boost section, making landing in shallow water faster. Now that we understand our target departure and arrival locations, let's talk about everything in the middle, that is, the terrain in the Shroom itself. Recall the shortcut attempt from my 386. That felt really fast. Pay close attention to the angle of the cart and the part of the grass I trick off of. By the time I'm ready to trick off the grass, my cart is rotated to be parallel with the wall I want to ride. Also notice that the grass forms a little triangle that points out away from the road. When I trick off the grass, I trick off the right side of this little triangle, the part that's closer to the wall. After riding the wall for a fraction of a second, I roll to the left off the wall, gaining a significant amount of speed. This sequence happens very quickly, but with a shallow water approach, I have found this method to make sticking to the wall much more consistent instead of basically human RNG. Again, the most important parts of this method are 1. Rotating the cart to be parallel with the wall before tricking, and 2. Tricking off the right side of the little grass triangle. As a fair warning, this method is not fail-proof. Fails will still happen, but I have noticed that my fails drastically decrease when using this method, and that my fails usually come from not doing the setup quite right. Let's now wrap things up by putting everything together and walking through the shortcut in more detail. If you skipped to this point in the video, please go back and watch parts 2 and 3 at the very least. They contain important context for the setup and execution of the shortcut, and having a better idea of what you should be looking for in your attempts will help you make the shortcut more frequently. I speak from experience. With that out of the way, we'll start all the way back from the glider landing. This first water ramp is a little up to player preference as far as I'm aware, but I like to land in the shallow water all the way from the start. It generally gives me a little bit less air off this first ramp and sets me up well for the Shroom. Upon landing in the shallow water after the ramp, I get my resurfacing trick, which lets me start a drift while airborne, rotating my cart. I generally start my drift by holding hard left and then immediately holding hard right. Next, I shroom once I approach the off-road and aim for the right side of the little triangle in the grass. By the time I get there, my cart is rotated to be parallel with the wall, and I perform a side trick to initiate a wall ride. After landing on the wall, I immediately roll to the left, followed by course-correcting tricks as needed once I'm in the air. Lastly, I land in the shallow water on the left side of the track in order to prevent my cart from sinking into the water and losing forward momentum. Once I land, I'm free to go attack the following turns as I usually would. This is the method I found to make my Section 2 Shroom consistent and fast. I hope this helps you all in your own runs, especially my fellow world record competition. I don't know how much more I'll improve, but if it's not much, I want you all to be able to use this to grind down your times as much as physically possible. Please let me know how this method ends up working for you, and if you notice a sizable improvement in successful shortcut attempts. Again, this method is not fail-proof, but it's pretty good from my testing. If you found this video helpful, please like the video and share it with someone who is having trouble with the shortcut. That will truly tell me how much this video helps, or not, more than anything else. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.